Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yesterday's deal for Alberta's doctors saw them receive $68 million in cash. This $68 million payout, fair enough, to the Alberta Medical Association represents more than a 2% increase for doctors, Mr. Speaker. In 2014-15, doctors will receive a 2.5% increase, while the teachers get 0%. So my questions to the Education Minister: why is this government giving raises to doctors but not to teachers?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this deal was great for doctors and great for patients, and the teachers' deal is great for teachers and great for students. And it's consistent with the doctors' deal. It's consistent with what our Finance Minister came out with in the third quarter with respect to freezing public sector and reducing the size of our opted out in our management by 10%. There is in all those deals 3 years of zeros. Within every deal there are some nuances, and the $68 million is one with the doctors, but certainly there are similar nuances with the teachers' deal and certain tops-ups, including a bonus of 1% in the fourth year, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable member.
Well, sometimes those zeros are existing in different places and sometimes in the distant past. And you know that given that the doctors received a 2.5 increase start of next year, and assurances as well that they will have a greater role in the development of Alberta's primary care. Fair enough. And given the parade of broken PC education promises, however, sees teachers asked to accept a freeze of their wages, school improvement programs being cut, school boards predicting layoffs, and this from a government that promised stable, predictable funding for our schools. My question again to the Education Minister: why is this government willing to give a fair deal to doctors, but not so much to teachers?
Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure how the math adds up over there, but 3 zeros on my left hand and 3 zeros on my right hand seem to be pretty balanced to me. And if you want to argue about which year it is or what year it starts and what year it ends, we can get into those semantics. But, Mr. Speaker, both these deals are 3 zeros. Certainly the doctors are good partners in the health system, and the Minister has recognized that. And some of the things that we put in the teachers' deal with respect to the Teacher Development Committee, funding a province-wide study on workload, all those things are nuances that are important for teachers, good for teachers, and at the end of the day, good for our students.
Honourable members from the Wild Rose and the Liberals, please keep the conversations out in the hallways. Don't bring them in here right now. It's just disruptive and it's not necessary. Edmonton Calder.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And given that, these broken promises to Alberta's teachers and students will result in fewer teachers, larger class sizes, and given that the Minister is trying to offload the cost of this government's broken promises straight onto teachers, school boards and parents, my question is again to the Minister: are Alberta's schools and teachers really such a low priority that he can make significant cuts, break promises, and then try to force a bad deal onto teachers?
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I have to give a lot of credit to the ATA and the school boards that worked very hard on this deal for close to 3 years. And at the end of that, this deal is in line with what we're doing in healthcare. It's in line with what we're doing with the entire public sector, and it is for good for kids. And at the end of the day, that's what's important. And this government is moving forward under this Premier to fulfilling a lot of the promises we made, including the $107 million that went back into healthcare, education, including the Education Act that was passed, including getting a deal done with teachers, including getting 120 capital projects out the door, which we're working on, and the PATs and the full day K is coming. Stay tuned.